Welcome back, ladies, gentlemen, and NBs, and thank you for tuning back into St. Andrew TV, a cure for your Monday blues. I am your host, Andrew, and today we're going to be focusing on coins in the Victorian era / Old West. What we're going to do today is spotlight 3 coins that you might find in the pockets of everyday citizens here in the United States during the Victorian era, and I will give you a brief history about coins in the United States leading up to that time period. So, let's get into it.
No one on the corner has a wagon like us. Hit me on my burner prepaid wireless. We pack and deliver like UPS trucks. Already gonna hell just pumping that gas. All I wanna do is ching and take your money. All I wanna do is ching and take your money.
In 1792, Congress introduced the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia, which was responsible for manufacturing coins for everyday citizens in the United States. It was named the Coinage Act of 1792. The first circulating coins in the United States rolled out on March 1st, 1793 in the form of copper cents. They looked like this. The reason I say circulating is you can find some silver half dimes being manufactured for wealthy and high-ranking individuals in the United States, and those were produced in 1792, but those weren't available for the general public. Circulating silver and gold coins were introduced in 1794 and 1795. Now, the US dollar was broken down into 100 parts called decimal coinage. This was similar to the Spanish mill dollar in how it was divisible. Now, with that being said, the metal of the coin was a good indicator of the coin's worth. Here is a graph showing exactly that. It is important to note during this time that not only US currency was considered legal tender in the United States, as many other countries' currency was floating around during this time. Main in part to the US Mint not being able to produce a mass amount of circulating coins right off the bat. And second of all, the United States was a fairly young country. That is until 1857, with the Coinage Act of 1857, banned all foreign currency as legal tender here in the United States. And that's what actually leads us into the coins that we're going to spotlight today. 1857 is roughly at the early parts of the Victorian era, which lasted from 1837 to 1901. So in this case here, I have 3 coins that you probably would have found during the Victorian era and some of our fellow Old West brethren's pockets. First one we are going to look at is the Indian head cent. These were minted between 1859 and 1909. These were designed by John Barton Longacre, who was the chief engraver at the Philadelphia Mint, and you're going to hear that name a lot because the other 2 coins he was also responsible for. And a lot of you might have guessed this already, this coin was worth 1 cent. However, there are some differences between the earlier models and the later models. Between the dates of 1859 and 1864, these coins were made out of 88% copper and 12% nickel. And they weighed 4.67 grams, which is a hefty little coin, very dense. On the other hand, between 1864 and 1909, the coins were made out of 95% copper and the other 5% being miscellaneous amounts of tin and zinc. And they only weighed 3.11 grams. Some interesting facts about the Indian head cent is this is actually not a photo of a Native American here on the front. This is actually Lady Liberty with a Native American headdress on and not an actual Native American. This is the one I currently have in my possession. This one was minted in 1861, and since there is no mint mark right here on the back underneath the wreath and the shield, that means that this particular coin was minted in Philadelphia. However, if you do find an S on the back underneath the wreath and shield, that means that it was minted in San Francisco. Let's move on to the next one. This one here is the shield nickel, and this one has been worn. so I apologize if it is tough to make out. The Shield nickel was minted between 1866 and 1883, and it was designed by John Barton Longacre, the chief engraver of the Philadelphia Mint. The Shield nickel is worth 5 cents and is actually the first coin in U.S. history to be referred to as a nickel. Prior denominations of 5 cents were known as half dimes and were made out of silver. This one is not, which leads us into its material makeup. This coin here is 75% copper and 25% nickel. Now the 5 cent piece here, the nickel, was a result of the economic hit that the Civil War caused here in the United States. Because like I said earlier, 5 cent pieces in the United States would be referred to as half dimes and made out of silver, but due to the Civil War, it made the 5 cent piece be manufactured with lesser metals, so to speak. This one's tough to see, but mine is a 1868 Shield nickel, and there are no mint marks on the Shield nickel because they were all minted in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, so don't go looking for them. And now we're going to move on to the last coin, which I made a point to leave at the end because it is the rarest coin that I have and probably the most unique, and that comes in the form of the 3 cent silver, which is very tough to see because it is a little guy, also referred to as the trine. These were minted between 1851 and 1872. However, there were proofs in 1873 where you could get your hands on one of these. These were designed by who else? Everyone with me now? John Barton Longacre, the chief engraver at the Philadelphia Mint. Now these are known to be only worth 3 cents unless you have the dates between 1851 and 1853. Then technically they were only worth 2.5 cents. And that is due to how much silver is actually in them, which also leads us to the material makeup of this coin here. Between 1851 and 1853, these were 75% silver and 25% copper and weighed 0.8 grams. And then later issues of the coin until 1872 and even 1873, if you have the proof, were made of 90% silver and 10% copper and weighed 0.75 grams. These were designed with the decrease in postage cost in mind. This is also the lightest coin ever minted by the United States, and it's only slightly bigger in diameter than some gold coins. The one that I have right here is an 1853 3 cent silver or trine, and it was minted in Philadelphia, as were all of them. Unless you have an 1851, there were roughly 700,000 of these coins were minted in New Orleans, which the mint mark would read O. And that concludes the 3 coins that I wanted to spotlight today that you would find in your Old West brethren's pockets, or maybe just a day-to-day citizen in the Victorian era. And I hope you enjoyed some of the history of coinage here in the United States. I want to do future videos of maybe paper money here in the United States and some trade tokens. So let me know what you guys thought about this video and if that's something that you would want me to move on to, whether it be paper money or trade tokens. Let me know down in the comments. Leave a like if you liked today's video, or leave me a comment telling me what you liked about this video, or maybe just tell me what I should do next. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed as of late, but for those of you who have come across this video and you like coins, the Wild West, the Victorian era, or maybe you just like me, think about hitting that subscribe button, because you're a daisy if you do.